It's good to see under the new Labor government, that just before they go out with a bang, obviously, that a great way, it's a new start for Labor policy, is to chop up single parents with the Gillard-tine, as you call it. It's pretty exciting, I imagine, for, coming up with a policy. When you're a Labor government, to use policies of Conservative governments is a bit radical. And I think it's always good when you're desperate to go for people that can't defend themselves, because, who's going to stick up for single parents? But basically, they're one of the most attacked and marginalised groups in the community. Great to stick the boot in, I reckon, to get that little bit of extra cash that you can. Now, I think it's something like, I think it's around 80,000 families will be losing around $130 a week right now. That's with kids around 8 years old. And it's great. It's going to get those lazy single parents off their fat, dole-bludging asses and get them back into low-paid employment so they can leave their kids in care and not see them at all, or perhaps just leave them at home locked in the house, so other people can ring docs and say someone's left their kids untended because they've had to go to work to earn the money to pay for the door that they've just shut. Bit of a problem, I imagine, if you're a single parent dealing with this. I think it's shameful. Personally, I think it's shameful. It's shameful to do that. And I'm personally actually considering ringing docs and making a child protection sort of allegation against Julia Gillard for the damage that she's actually doing to children all around the country living in these low-income families. Because God knows, they're, New Start's by one of the lowest unemployment sort of benefits in a first world country. It's not even below the poverty line now. For those people, that line, it's not just a poverty line. A lot of people are using that poverty line as a roof because they're so far under it. It actually survived the only purpose that it has. There's some terrible, some bigotry around single parents. And I think it is because, I'm not a single parent anymore, but hey, I could be tomorrow. Who knows? I've been one before. 5 children, 3 different blokes. It's always an option. But, I'm not unusual around here. But I think it's harder because I think when you are a single parent, you're less, there's all this sort of, hoo-ha about your legitimacy. There's these lovely kind of myths, or I suppose not really myths, about these, a form of social antagonism, because people believe that people have children to stay on welfare and therefore they're not really, people say, well, they're not those people, they don't really deserve it. We need to do something about those actual people. Usually you'd be saying those lower income, sort of poor socioeconomic, undereducated people that have really been failed by the system for generations. We'll do something about them because they really don't see any other options except to have children. Although under Gillard's new plan, the funny thing is that they've actually made it an incentive to keep breeding and keeping it under 8. So I sort of think it's a little bit of a wacko plan, really, when it comes to that. But, I was brought up by a single mum. I've been a single mum from time to time. And I have to say that, there's a certain shame in being a single mum or being brought up as a single parent, by a single parent. It's kind of like when people ask and there's that, oh, gee, that must be hard. Like a feeling like there's something wrong with you, that you should be a little bit ashamed, that your family's a little bit broken. And for single parents, you often feel that, a little bit like, oh, I failed my children. Oh, it's a punishment. Anyway, I think it's really unfair, and I think it's time that all Australians stood up for low-income families and people that are really struggling to do it on their own, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter however you have the children, it's the child at the end of the day, and the child belongs to everyone. Every child has a right to be brought up without poverty and without struggle. So, as a bit of a mass action, I reckon we should all get pregnant every 7 years, everyone, and just keep pushing it out and going into Centrelink. I'm giving it a shot now. So, see, wish me luck. Wouldn't let me on.